You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. Chase Sr. hanging out here with you. And no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making today's show a part of your day. Coming up here on the Eagles Now Rundown, Super Bowl 59 coming up in a couple of Sundays. And I want to discuss 5 Eagles players who have to step up in order for the Eagles to take down the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chiefs' quest for a three-peat and beat Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. Before we take a look at those 5 players who have to rise to the occasion in New Orleans, Eagles Now will be headed to New Orleans for our Super Bowl coverage, so be sure to lock us in and hit that subscribe button. Here's everything that you can expect right here on this channel. We'll be doing shows from Radio Row. We'll be giving you player and coach interviews. Other media members who cover the Eagles and cover the Chiefs will also make appearances on the program. Long-form content, short-form content. We'll meet up with Eagles fans on Bourbon Street. And you know that Chip and I are going to do some Eagles chants on Bourbon Street as well. And, of course, we'll be back in the Chat Sports studios for a Super Bowl 59 watch party. We're over 105,000 subs, largest independently run Eagles channel right here on YouTube. Lock us in. Hit that subscribe button for daily and year-round coverage of the Birds. Without further ado, let's take a look at my list of 5 Eagles who have to step up to take down the Kansas City Chiefs. Player number 1, kicker Jake Elliott. On the other sideline is Harrison Butker. He has a lot of experience kicking in big games. His last 11 field goal attempts in the fourth quarter or in overtime of playoff games, he is 11 of 11. And Jake the Make needs to live up to his name to match Harrison Butker. This is a game that I think is going to be decided by one score. It's going to be a game that's going to be decided on the margins. Jake Elliott has hit a bunch of clutch kicks for the Eagles throughout his career, but all throughout the 2024 season into the playoffs, he's been hit or miss. He's been very sketchy. It's one of the worst years of his career. And here in 2024, during the regular season, he was 47 of 48 on extra points, 9 of 9 on kicks of 20 to 29 yards, 10 of 11 on kicks of 30 to 39 yards, 8 of 9 on boots of 40 to 49 yards. All of that is pretty good, right? Pretty accurate, pretty efficient. But Jake Elliott has been known to be a kicker who is clutch and has a strong leg. But he's lacked in both of those areas this year. 1 of 7 on kicks of 50-plus yards during the regular season, and his field goals made and attempted this year, partially because of the lack of long kicks made, 28 of 38, his lowest efficiency season going all the way back to 2021. And some of those struggles have carried over into the postseason. He has missed 3 extra points, and some of those extra point misses have come, which has halted the Eagles' momentum. They score a huge touchdown, fans are going berserk, and then Jake Elliott misses a PAT. It goes from celebrations to, take some air out of the stadium. That cannot happen in this game against Kansas City. Now, he was clutch against the Rams in the divisional round, in the snow, hitting a couple of huge field goals in tough weather, shades of Adam Vinatieri in Foxborough in the early 2000s, but the missed PATs have been a problem in the playoffs, and his lone kick of 50-plus yards, same issue in the regular season. He missed it wide right last week against the Washington Commanders. And when you miss kicks, especially against the Chiefs, they will take advantage of that momentum shift. They will take advantage of the good field position. They will capitalize on you not scoring points. And points are going to be at a premium in this game. Philadelphia needs to play a clean game, nearly perfect, in order to beat Kansas City. And Jake Elliott can't afford to miss some of these kicks. Second Eagle who needs to step up against Kansas City is linebacker Oren Burks. And I have to give credit where credit is due, because when DeJean went out, I did a show in which I said it is a steep drop-off from DeJean to Oren Burks. And the Eagles are really going to miss Dean after the breakout season that he had in year 3 in 2024. Well, Oren Burks has done a really nice job filling in for him. You take a look at his numbers in the regular season and in the playoffs. Vic Fangio has a linebacker background in his coaching career that has resulted in Zach Bond, DeJean, Oren Burks and Jeremiah Trotter Jr. playing well. Obviously, some more than others, but Burks has been inserted into the lineup, and in the playoffs, overall PFF grade of 73.7, a coverage grade of 74.1, a pass rush grade of 75.5. He has allowed a passer rating of 100.5 when targeted in the regular season. Limited action, more of a special teams player because Bond and Dean were workhorses, but the numbers were good. Overall PFF grade of 83. Run defense grade just shy of 87. A coverage grade of 70, still in the green. Pass rush grade of 63.2 and a passer rating of 91.9. We have seen in the playoffs a couple of huge plays. The pass batted down against Matthew Stafford on that final drive. The forced fumble on Austin Eckler. And the forced fumble forced on the opening kick of the wild card round. But that passer rating allowed when targeted. You know who knows that? You know who's understanding of that? You know who's going to try to target Oren Burks in coverage if he's matched up against the likes of Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and Kelce himself. Because Burks in the Super Bowl last February had to replace an injured Dre Greenlaw after he popped his Achilles. The Niners hadn't given up a score prior to the Greenlaw injury. After that, they really struggled and gave up 300-plus yards of offense. And when Burks was targeted, guarding Kelce, he was targeted 9 times, gave up 9 catches, a touchdown, surrendered a passer rating of 134.7, and had a Pro Football Focus coverage grade of 32.1. And this is what makes Andy Reid a magician, especially when he has that extra week of preparation. He is a surgeon. He will dive deep into the tape, and he will try to find all of your flaws, all of your weaknesses. He will come up with new wrinkles for his offensive plays and all of these new ideas to try to find ways to beat you. And they'll be looking at Oren Burks to target when he drops back in coverage. Now, how can the Eagles put up a different player against Travis Kelce to help hide Burks when he does drop back in coverage? I'm about to talk about that with another player coming up here just around the corner. But first, our sponsor for today's Philadelphia Eagles now, our friends at Game Time. If you're going to New Orleans for the big game, download the Game Time app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Game Time specializes in last-minute tickets at the lowest price guaranteed. Prices drop as the event gets closer. Thanks to Game Time Picks, a new feature. Curation makes it easier to find the best seats with the best vantage point and the best price point for the events that you want to go to. It's not just an app for sporting events. You can go to concerts, comedy shows, theater events, and a whole lot more. You can see the view from your seat before you buy, so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. And you can access tickets from your phone, easily resell those tickets as well. You take a look at the Superdome here. This is a view of where tickets are available and the viewpoint from those seats. So, last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, for $20 off. Terms apply. First purchase only. Our third Eagle, who needs to step up for the Eagles to take down the Chiefs, is rookie cornerback Cooper DeJean. 21 years old. His birthday, like Saquon Barkley's birthday, will happen the day of the game, and he has had a tremendous debut season in the NFL. But an interesting matchup idea that I have, which leads me to this talking point of DeJean needing to play well against Kansas City, and really this applies for him and Quinyon Mitchell, as rookies going up against a savvy veteran coach in Andy Reid, a veteran quarterback and future Hall of Famer, in addition to Reid and Patrick Mahomes. They will try to target some inexperienced players and try to get them to bite in some certain areas and with some play designs. And an interesting matchup idea that I have, if you're worried about putting Oren Burks on Travis Kelce after your linebackers had struggled last week against Zach Ertz, how about Cooper DeJean against Travis Kelce? That's what I'm thinking about doing here. If I'm Vic Fangio, I'm at least floating the possibility because I think that DeJean can hold up with Kelce. Kelce in his playoff career, he has been the right-hand man for Patrick Mahomes, plenty of experience, and even though in the regular season his production has gone down, he looks a little bit slower, that adrenaline gets going, he turns it up a notch when the postseason comes around, and he is a great big game performer. 18-6 win-loss record in games that Kelce has played in. He's been targeted 214 times, and in those 24 games, I'm bad at math. He has 214 targets, 174 catches, more than 2,000 yards in his playoff career, 11.7 yards per catch, and 20 touchdowns. Really is unbelievable what he's been able to do. And outside of maybe guarding Travis Kelce, having to deal with the speed of Marquise Brown and Xavier Worthy, having to go up against these Andy Reid play designs with all of the misdirection and rub routes and creativity, DeJean is probably going to be the punt returner. I don't think it's going to be Britton Covey coming off that neck injury, nor do I think it should be because he hasn't played in so long. And so with DeJean in a huge game, when the pressure is on, ball security as a returner will also be huge. Fourth Eagle who has to step up, Jalen Hurts. What did I say going into the NFC Championship game? I thought that Hurts was going to be able to have a big game. I thought that he was going to be able to answer his critics, come through in a clutch spot, perform and play well. He played great. And so when you think about the Eagles quarterback here, this is an Eagles offense that relies on its strengths, offensive line and run game. For the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59, Jalen Hurts has to play against Kansas City like he did against the Washington Commanders. When he was efficient, when he was making quick decisions, he was very accurate, he was mobile, he completed more than 71% of his passes, 246 yards, 4 total touchdowns, no turnovers, a passer rating of 110.1, and what has Hurts done since that Week 5 bye week? What has he done all playoffs long? Good ball security, keeping the ball out of harm's way, making good decisions. And that goes into Hurts having a good game against Steve Spagnuolo's defense. And for those saying, Hurts can't play well against Spags, arguably the best defensive coordinator in the game, hold on. Jalen Hurts carved his defense up back in Super Bowl 57, and he beat him in 2023. A look back at what Hurts did 2 years ago in Arizona, he accounted for nearly 400 total yards. 27 of 38, 304 through the air, 4 total touchdowns, 1 fumble, which led to the Nick Bolton scoop and score. It was a bad play. It altered the outcome of the game, but Hurts outplayed Mahomes in that game, and hopefully he can do it again. And if he does, we're going to see another parade come down Broad Street. The fifth Eagle who has to step up is more of a position group, and that's the Eagles' offensive line as a whole. And you can say that I'm cheating here, that's fine, but let me explain this. Eagles have the best offensive line in the NFL, but when you're going up against a Spags defense, slides, protections, communication, they will all be important against the exotic, creative, complex, and confusing blitzes that the Chiefs like to throw to the opposing offense. Especially with the interior of this Eagles offensive line, they have been a little bit spotty in the playoffs in pass protection. Injuries do loom large. Even though Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson are expected to play, they could be a little bit banged up. The extra week of rest going to go a long way in helping them come off of their respective injuries. A back for Jurgens, knee for Dickerson. But once they get back on that field, they will have their work cut out for them. Because Chris Jones, the Chiefs' defensive tackle, is a generational player. One of the best players that we've ever seen on the defensive side of the football as a whole. And even though he's a little bit older and he's been doing it for a long time, he's still getting it done. Overall PFF grade this year of 89.7. That was third among 219 defensive tackles. Pass rush grade of 91. That was first at the position. Run defense grade of 64.3, 38th. Will the Eagles run it at Chris Jones, and can they have success there? Let's hope so. He was second in pressures at the position with 74, first in hurries with 53, and he had 6 sacks according to PFF, 17th among defensive tackles. Other Eagles who need to step up and other storylines that I'm kind of monitoring going into this game. Braden Mann, special teams and holding. Aaron Sipos was bad in Super Bowl 57. Braid Mann's been a lot better, and he's been a really good punter this year. His punts for Jake Elliott, they've been a little bit iffy. They've led to some misses. Jalen Carter, like Chris Jones, one of the most dominant players in the NFL, but he needs to bring it, and he needs to have a dominant game against a really good Chiefs interior offensive line like he's done all year, especially in the playoffs. If he does, greatly improves the Eagles' chances of raising that Lombardi. The young corners against the Worthy and Brown speed, huge in this game. Whoever is lined up against Joe Thuney at left tackle, he's a guard. He's been playing left tackle because the Chiefs don't have a better option there. You have to win that matchup, and defensive tackling is going to be big as well. The Chiefs tackle very well. Eagles usually do. They fly to the ball, but you know Andy Reid, with the lack of offensive weaponry, is going to try to scheme up plays to allow Yak for his weapons. And the Eagles have to bring those players down. With that, I ask you this. Who needs to step up for the Eagles to win? I gave you 5 players and options. You let me know and show me that you know ball.